So, good morning, everybody. I'm Tanya Smith, and this is Get Noticed with Video. This is typically the day that we do go live, but we're going live at a different time because it's Christmas Eve, and we tend to celebrate Christmas Eve evening. So, I want to make sure to introduce to you what we're going to talk about in this special edition of our live stream. I want to really kind of go through some things that I've seen in terms of trends for 2020 and what you can expect as a service provider in 2021. If this is your first time watching, one of the things that I like to do most is to share tips and strategies to help service providers simplify live streaming so you can serve more people. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to also give a really quick shout out to my video VIPs community. And just to make sure that you know where they're located, our community is on Facebook in the groups area under video VIP. So I am just so in love with this community of folks who are looking to leverage video marketing to promote their businesses and serve more people. And I just cannot say enough good things. I want to welcome you first and foremost. And then for those of you who are new or are watching in other platforms, of course, you're welcome here. So before I get started, I'm going to go ahead and share a really quick intro video, give some folks time to actually come on board, and then we'll be right back so I can dive in to the state of video and just share some trends with you that we're seeing. I also want to touch on a couple of really specific things like the exit of Periscope, in case you knew or didn't know that that still existed. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. All right, I'll see you back here in just a second. All right, again, welcome back. I'm Tanya Smith. In case you missed that earlier, Tanya Smith with Get Noticed with Video at getnoticedwithvideo.com. And I'm going to walk you through a few things. First, I want to do this. Let me check and see if there's anyone in the chat that's leaving me a quick message. I know that because I'm using Restream this morning, and I usually use StreamYard, there's going to be a little bit of a difference in terms of how I communicate, especially for those of you who are in the actual community, in the group. So if you do have questions, comments, anything you want to share, feel free to put that in chat and I will definitely acknowledge. And good morning to you, Miss Angelica, one of my favorite people that I've met in 2020. Here's the question I want to ask. If you're watching live or if you're not watching live, if you're watching, oh, good morning. She said Wonder Woman. We have to talk a little bit about that in just a second too. I want to ask you this, because this is going to be the very last live stream I do for 2020. My question for you is, what are you most thankful for and what are you most excited about in the new year? So even if you're watching the replay, just put hashtag replay and put your answer, because I want to hear from you. I'm curious about that. I can share with you my own personal thoughts in terms of things that I'm really thankful for. I am very grateful that we as a family, the Smith family, have been able to come through in spite of a lot of different challenges. I mean, I have been in surgery twice this year. Most of you don't know that. I was in recovery and still doing some lives, but I had to cut them short so that I could, move around and go where I needed to get rest. There have been a lot of things. So you don't often see when people are sharing video or any type of marketing, you don't always know the trials and the tribulations that they're going through. I don't know all the things that you are going through, but I know one thing. You and I are both here. Hopefully we're both healthy and safe. And that's a miracle. That's a blessing. So I am really, really grateful that you're here and able to watch. I'm grateful that I'm here and able to speak to you through this platform. So just know that that is my biggest, my number one piece of gratitude. I also want to share with you something I'm excited about that's coming up. And yes, thank you, Christopher. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. I love it. I love all the emojis, Christopher. He is one of my favorites too. And Christopher is my residential restream expert inside the community. So thank you for showing up. The only other thing I'll mention is that I'm also excited about 2021, and I'm going to share with you some reasons why in just a few seconds. But I definitely have to acknowledge some of the comments that are coming through. Yes, productive year, growing my business in spite of COVID, and the silver lining of spending more time with family. Yeah. So, you know what? Sometimes it's all about reframing. We could sit here and complain about the fact that we had to be, a little bit more isolated in this year, or we could look at it as an opportunity to spend more time with loved ones. Frankly, my husband, being someone who travels internationally about 75 to 80% or more of every year for the last 9 years, it was nice to have him home. He was home from March until about 8 weeks ago. So that was a real blessing for our family. So we do have to look at those things, that glass half full thing. Sometimes it's easy to become depressed and to be downtrodden, right? But I really hope that you will focus on those things that you want to celebrate. One last thing, so we can dive into the content, because I know you came here to hear more about trends. I'm excited about the movie Wonder Woman. I don't know if you've noticed that I collect a lot of Wonder Woman paraphernalia, and I don't think that people really understood when I said that just how much I collect. So I actually did a little thing on Instagram and on Facebook the last 10 days sharing some of my favorite things. So let me pop up one of them. One thing I shared yesterday was this really cool jacket that I custom ordered that was or is a Wonder Woman jacket, but I was doing a countdown of a lot of my favorite things. And so people kind of had a good laugh off of that, because you really don't know that somebody's a fan until they start showing you, here's how much of a fan I really am. So anyway, that was fun. And I just wanted to share that too. I'm going to share one more thankful for, and then we'll dive into the content and talk about some video trends and things that I want you to definitely keep top of mind as we're moving forward into 2021. So I love this comment from Angelica. Thankful for my family and the strength that God gave me to make it through the stress of 2020. Hallelujah. Family deaths, brother in a coma, loss of income. Through all of that, there were some amazing things at the same time. And you know what? I am just thankful for meeting you, Angelica, because I know you started watching my videos on YouTube, and then we connected through the chat, through the comments, and then you just became a part of another part of my family, my extended family. So thank you for being here. Oh my goodness, there's just so many things that are in here. I cannot neglect to share a few more things. Yes, I have one more. Let's see. Wonder Woman. I'm proud to have worked for 10 years at Warner Brothers, who brings us incredible DC comic movies. I love that, love that, love that. That is awesome. Yes. And then Christopher had a comment there too, but I definitely want to dive into some of the things that you're here for. I just didn't want to miss out on the opportunity to really just emphasize, as tough as this year has been for many of us, I hope that you have taken the time to really reflect on those things that are positive and that are good, because you need to carry that with you into this coming year. We don't know what to expect. We don't know what January 1st will bring. We just can't know that. But what we can know is that we have the ability to make a decision about how we respond to the things that are happening around us. So I hope that you will just keep that in mind, and that you will use all your positive strengths to get you momentum, to build credibility, to get promotable, to be visible in 2021. So that's why we're talking today, is because I want to share some tips that are going to help you with that from a video marketing perspective. So if you are ready, let's dive in. So let me pull up my notes, because I want to make sure I stay structured, and I know we have a limited amount of time that I try to be on these things. I don't want to keep you here all day. But the first thing I want to share with you, let's see, let's talk about Periscope. So for those of you who don't know, and let me just go ahead and pull up my screen, the article about Periscope. And I will do this, especially for those of you who are in the community and the video VIPs community, which again, let me pop that up here. If you're not a part of it, you definitely will want to join and connect, because in 2021, this is one of my primary spots that I will hang out in. I don't have 500 groups. I like having a centralized space that I get to connect with the folks that I play and work with. And so facebook.com/groups/video VIPs is where we hang out. The only other thing I'll mention there is that that's also where we share our community calendar at the beginning of the month. But if you're not inclined, if you will, to join another group, because I know I've heard that a lot, then one of the best ways to find out where we're going to be and where we are is go to my website, getnoticedwithvideo.com. At the very top, there's a calendar tab that will tell you what programs, events, and other things we have coming up. But here's what I want to show you. I'll pop up these articles, and in the community, I will try to share all of the resources I'm about to share with you. I'll share those links so that you can go and read for yourself. There is nothing like you actually understanding and having awareness of what marketing perspectives are and other types of perspectives too. When you educate yourself first and then pay attention to the source that you're listening to or watching, pay attention to the source, because there's a lot of misleading information and disinformation out there. So I want to share with you that some of this is based on the fact that I've gone and I have researched. Okay, so these are actual articles that we're going to talk through a little bit. So I'm going to pop up this one first. It's talking about the shutdown of the Periscope app. So for those of you who don't know, and you may or may not have known this, I don't know. For those of you who don't know, Periscope was the platform that originally Twitter was using as their live streaming platform. So when I go live, for instance, through StreamYard or through Restream like I am right now, the platform by which people on Twitter are able to view my live stream is called Periscope. I can't remember exactly when they first were born online, but what I do know is that initially it was a hotspot, just like so many social networks, right? When it was brand new, it was hopping. People were over there and spending time inside the app. Ultimately, Periscope was purchased by Twitter. And over time, it just became a space that people just did not really flock to physically anymore. What they would do instead is simply just watch on Twitter through their post. Whether you knew or not that that's how you were streaming, that's what you were doing, is you were going through Periscope in order for your broadcast to show up in Twitter. So now, because they haven't had as much visibility or activity, the decision has been made for Periscope to actually shut down, and it's probably going to happen around March of 2021 per the articles. Everything that I've seen is saying that. Okay. So what does that mean for you? If you are multi-streaming like I do, and what that means is I'm broadcasting not just to one place, but to multiple places at one time through the apps I use. If you're multi-streaming and Twitter is one of the platforms by which you stream, it won't be through Periscope anymore. I don't know exactly how Twitter is going to make this work, but I can tell you some of the rumors and things that I've seen in the articles I've read is that there's the potential for Twitter to just allow you to continue to live stream directly through Twitter versus Periscope after March. And if that happens and they don't add any other types of bells and whistles or features, what that means is that your stream will probably show up as a Twitter post, right? And it may just live in that Twitter post instead of living on a platform where you can go and download it or send people to, right? You can just send them to directly to the post. Now, if they don't do that, one of the other things that I've heard is that there's a possibility that they may leverage fleets. Fleets is sort of like the new Twitter stories, if you will. I guess that's the most similar I can make that, because if you think about it, like Instagram has stories, LinkedIn is even getting stories, YouTube has stories. So Twitter has its own little version of that. It's really kind of more of a version of Reels and stories mixed together. Reels is in Instagram. But fleets may be the option, sort of like Instagram has IGTV. I can see Twitter doing something of that nature. I don't know. The more info I get, and when I get some updates that I feel are reliable enough, I'll share that back with you if that matters to you. Frankly, Twitter is not the majority. Um, well, it is, it's a large audience for me because that's where I built my platform, but it is not really where I spend the most time these days as far as video marketing. So if it is a spot for you and you have questions about it, make sure you let me know. Send some comments in the chat so that I know that. All right. And yes, I love the comment Jeanette made that joining the Facebook group, Educating Yourself, is important. So please definitely join us. I would love to have you there, Jeanette. Okay. So Twitter. The next one I want to talk about is Zoom. Okay. Zoom has been a big player in 2020, in case you hadn't noticed, right? When COVID hit, everybody started flocking to Zoom. And I'm talking about not just like entrepreneurs like us, but large organizations and companies. And it got so big that Zoom really had to scale their business. Like they had to go and hire new people and put other things in place to make sure that they were taking care of security issues and privacy stuff, and that they had the bandwidth to cover and to take care of all these people who are now using this platform. And this is actually going to lead into my 5 trends I want you to pay attention to for 2021. But there are some new technologies and some things that are coming up that are going to be interesting to watch for Zoom. So I want to share with you this next article. Let's see if we can pop that up. So Zoom may offer email to bolster its growing empire. This caught my attention. Why? Because it's almost like what they're trying to do, according to this article, is what they're trying to do is to kind of like compete with Outlook, right? Google. So what they're saying basically is that Zoom not only will have video calls, but they're looking at, and they're not really confirming this. So this again is a rumor, but I've seen it repeatedly in a few articles. But they're looking to expand to actually offer more integrated apps such as email systems and calendaring, which they already are kind of touching on anyway. Because right now, when I open my Windows computer, when I open my laptop, my Zoom window pops up and it tells me what meetings I have for the day. And it's pulling from my Google Calendar integration. So it shows, so all I have to do is just look and see if any of those are Zoom meetings. I can just click on the link to go directly into the meeting room whenever the time comes for the meeting. And I get reminders throughout the day so I never am late, because I hate being late, just in case you didn't know this. So yeah, that's something to kind of watch. So Zoom is possibly going to be offering email. Interesting. Another thing I want to show you is this app called Let me blow it up real quick first. So and see how it's spelled? It's spelled just like it sounds. MMHMMM. Turns your boring Zoom call into a weekend update style TV show. Now, why should this matter to you? Let me make sure I pull that over. This should matter because this is new technology that is integrated with Zoom, and I think that they may have some other potential integrations that might be coming, like Google Meet. I don't know what other platforms just yet, but I've been kind of paying attention, and I did sign up for their beta a few months back. If you had a Mac computer and you were in the beta, you would have had access to this app already. Because I have Windows and I just love my Windows, I'm not switching. I know, for you Mac users, calm down, calm down. But because I have Windows, I waited, and they actually had an email that came out about a week or so ago saying, hey, we're getting ready to introduce the beta for Windows. The reason why I get excited about this is because there's some really cool things that you can do with this app from what I can tell. And there's a video. I'm going to see if I can kind of play a little bit of the video so that you can see it. Let's see if we can do that, and hopefully we can pull the sound in. But I'm very intrigued by what I'm seeing with this app. So let me share with you before I actually turn the YouTube video on and see if that comes through for you. One of the things that I absolutely am intrigued by here, let's make sure it didn't start playing. Okay, is that this video, not this video, this app, gives you the ability to pull up a window behind yourself, right? So it's like high quality video production, like they said, like a Weekend Update style. So think about Saturday Night Live. If you watch SNL and you know the two guys that do the news segment and how they have the little window that pops up in the back behind them with different scenes, this app allows you to do that in Zoom, and you can pull up different scenes. If you're a teacher or you're a trainer or you're a coach and you're teaching a concept, imagine what that could do where you could pull up different things, your slides and information that you're sharing inside of your Zoom app with just the click of a button using this app. That is really, that can be like, that takes you to a whole different level. So I'm going to try to show a little bit of the video. It's a 5-minute long video, so I'm not going to show a lot of it, but let me see if I can scroll to the part that I want you to see, and we'll pull this up. And hopefully I'm doing this right because I want to make sure to share the sound, the audio too. All right, I'm going to try it. Let's see. We need to make sure that's on. Okay, and we will blow it up.
Easier for people to present, inform, entertain over video. We call it because I think it's important to have a name that you can say while eating. And the basic pitch is it's instant weekend update. Lets you live out your vicarious John Oliver fantasies. Yes, I know this is SNL. Here's how it works. I can control the room that I'm in. There's this wide selection of indoor and outdoor and animated backgrounds. I like this one, it's pretty fancy. And I can have a screen that I can put whatever I want on. I like to use this to show off my Instagram photos. You know, I have a lot of photos on Instagram that I like, and I figured I've got 14 hours a day on video, so I may as well inflict my Japan slideshows onto people as I'm talking.
Okay, I think you kind of get the point, right? I think you kind of get the point. What it's doing is basically it's giving you an easy way. If you download or install this software, once the beta is done and it's released, we'll see how the Windows beta goes. I'll make sure to tell you if I get access. But the thing is that you could literally take your Zoom calls and turn them into like a real TV production. Like, this is awesome. And it gives you opportunities, again, that are going to feed into the 5 trends I'm going to share with you in just a second here, because I think that it's so important for us to get ready to up-level our video game, especially if you are doing live streams. If you are doing any type of live streams, the boring old live streams that we've been doing, we need to take them up a step to stand out. And the reason why is everybody is going to be trying to do video. So if yours is just, it's not entertaining, it's not standing out, it's boring and dry, it's not going to be something that you can use to truly build your brand. So Christopher, I do not know the answer to that yet, but I will find out. Can we use it in Restream and StreamYard? I'm not sure yet. What I kind of read as I was looking through things is that it is really designed more for platforms like Zoom. At least that's the one that I kept seeing in there. And then potentially for Google Meet. But I have not seen that it's going to be something that you can use inside of a streaming platform just yet. So we're going to have to check that out. Yes, yay for Windows users. I know, because we're always last, but that's okay. I still love my Windows. It's all good. Okay, so that's the update on Zoom, that there's a couple of things happening there. The next thing I want to share with you is I want to actually talk about my 5 top video trends. So I'm going to pull up a slide that I created so that we can kind of walk through this, because I want to make sure that we really kind of are paying attention to how we're going to leverage video in 2021. There are things that have been happening in 2020 that are amazing with video, but they were real predictable. And I'll share with you a couple of my notes from looking at Vidyard's State of Video 2020. When I look back at that report, a couple of things showed up for me. One is they mentioned, hey, in 2020, we're going to see the use of video accelerate across online channels and throughout the buying journey. Buying journey meaning your sales process, right? They talked about how it was going to change online marketing programs, how it was going to change internal communications. So, not just the way in which we communicate with people who are potential buyers, but even how we communicate with our team members. And if you're an employer in a large or small or medium business organization, you're probably using more video. I've gotten people who have outreach to me to talk about, hey, Tanya, how can we use more video with our teams and do it effectively? So these are things that we have to be thinking about, even though most of us are service providers, meaning that we are a solo entrepreneur who may or may not have a team. Maybe we have a team of 1 or 2 people, but we still have to think strategically. And frankly, because we're in that situation, it's going to be a little easier for us to have flexibility to move around and to adapt as things change. So let's go through the 5. Let's talk about that now, and then we'll be wrapping. All right, wrapping up. Wrapping. Get it, Christmas? Huh? Anyway, okay, I'm feeling a little silly this morning. I'm going to go ahead and blow up my top 5 videos. Okay. These are 5 video trends to watch for 2021. And then I'm going to break them down and kind of share a little bit more with you about what I think in terms of these. So the first is new video tech is on the rise. New video technology is on the rise. What I mean by that, and this is kind of key to what I just shared already. Hold on, let me switch that back. What I already shared is that you see things like Zoom or organizations like Zoom saying, you know what, we want to play bigger because we got a little piece of the pie. And so now what we're going to do is look at expanding and using email and using other type. So new tech there. The platform I showed you is new technology that is going to be leveraging existing platforms like Zoom and possibly Google Meet, right? There are going to be more. And if you look, if you're a member of any type of like lifetime deals, groups, AppSumo, any of those type of things, you will find that there's a lot more video technology and apps and software that is constantly rolling out for screen capturing, recording your screen, all kinds of things that are making it super easy for us to, and thank you for the wrapping comment, easier for us to leverage video and to make it look professional and entertaining and engaging, right? So the key is you want to make sure you don't just dive in and purchase everything that pops up. Be careful that you're not spending all your money on stuff that doesn't work. So you want to be sure that you are paying attention to your business needs and that you have a system in place to decide from a budget standpoint, does it make sense? Is it affordable for me to use? Is it something I need? Is it something I just kind of want because it's cool, right? Is it going to somehow enhance the experience that my customers have with me? These are things you want to think about with the new video technologies and apps and things that you're seeing. So that's trend number 1 that I would suggest watching for. Number 2 is that educational video is going to be key. It's going to be key. So let me pop that up. New video technologies on the rise, more educational video, not just promotional. One of the things that I keep seeing is that people are constantly creating promotional videos for Facebook ads, Instagram ads, etc. So ads, ads, ads. And you're doing promotional videos using tools like InVideo is one. Animoto is another one. And certainly we can promote and we need to be doing some type of paid advertising in order to be seen. I agree with that. But we also need to watch because what consumers and people who are watching videos are doing is they're looking for education. They're looking for snack size, small bites of information that can help them get a solution in a short amount of time. So what I am seeing is that there are more online courses that are video based more than ever. You can, if you just Google right now online courses, there's a slew. Your email inbox is probably full of people who are selling you on how to create online courses. I'm even doing a one-on-one private coaching program now. I have a client that I'm working with. She asked me about it, and I was like, okay, that makes sense because I've been creating courses for years. Certainly, we can do vibrant video courses. So we're working on mapping out her course strategy over a 6-week period to put lessons in place that will be short bites that will attract the attention of the people she works with and give them the education they're looking for. So, more focus on educational content is important. I know people like Christopher who are doing videos right now that are teaching people about real estate. I know others in this group, in the community, that are doing videos that are also training and teaching people about their niche, how to be healthier, how to um, have more wellness practices. That's going to be a hot topic in 2021 because so many people are overwhelmed and they need self care and health advice. So be thinking about ways that you can educate people by using videos. So that's number two. Let's pull up number three. We got two more after this. Social first. By this, here's what I mean when I say social first strategy. Social first means shorter, more interesting, more entertaining. And I have a little asterisk next to entertaining. Why? Because entertaining can mean different things to different people. Entertaining for some people, for my kids who are teens, and young adults, entertaining for them means somebody getting on, and doing a dance or doing a funny joke or whatever. For me, it may mean something else. Like I grew up in a whole different era, so entertainment for me looks like something different. So you want to be thinking about, and I see your question about LinkedIn, so I'll come back to that. Um, Thinking about ways that you can create more engaging video. And by that, it doesn't have to be super long. It can be short bites of video, but you got to keep your content interesting and relevant to the people who are watching. So, what I encourage my clients to do, and also my folks who are in my different programs, what I always encourage you to do is to take a look around at other people's videos. Do a Facebook watch review. Go and look on YouTube, anywhere where there are videos where you think you might want to be recording and distributing your own videos, and get ideas from people who it attracts your attention and you're like, hey, I kind of like what they did here, so I'm going to adopt that into my own style. Do that because that will be helpful as well. Hey, Miss Sherelle, good to see you. And Stacy, yes, new topics. So you've got to be thinking about, how do I create new topics that are going to be relevant to the people that I'm talking to and keep it entertaining? Keep it entertaining. So interesting, entertaining, and short, I believe, is the name of the game. Social first. And when I say social first, what I'm seeing from that trend or that phrase is, when you're talking about social first, that means you want to keep in mind, actually, it should be social and mobile first. You want to keep in mind that many people are watching from their mobile devices. That's number one. You also want to be thinking in terms of, most people are probably consuming your video content on a social platform. So, in terms of those social platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc., making sure that your video content is appropriate for those audiences. I like doing a mix. So when I do this live stream weekly, what I try to do is to do a little bit of a longer video, because I'm taking that and I'm doing something that I'll show you in number 5, right? But I have a good mix of timing, but definitely from a social standpoint, think about ways that you can do small snack size videos that are 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes and no more than that, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, right? because reels are big on Instagram reels. That's a big hot thing right now. So could you, with your business knowledge and with the content that you share, could you create Instagram reels, which I think are 15 to 30 seconds? I'm just starting to investigate that. So give me a little time on that one and we can talk a little bit about it. But yes, Eric said, what streaming service are you using? I right now am using Restream, but I really, really love StreamYard, and that's typically what I use. Merry Christmas to you as well, Michelle. It's wonderful to see you. So, yeah, these are trends, okay? One thing I didn't mention is that there are new themes, and I'll have to come back to this to make sure I show those to you before we log out. But there are some new themes in both StreamYard and Restream that are pretty cool. So notice now we've got the larger banner that goes across the screen. We also have bubble banners inside of StreamYard as well as here in Restream. So lots of really cool new stuff that you can play with if you are on either one of those streaming platforms. All right, let's go into number 4 and number 5, and then I'm going to kind of scan back through and see if I can answer questions that have been put into the chat. So if you've got questions that I haven't answered, make sure you put those in here. All right, let's do this. Let me blow this up. Strategic is the number 4. Strategic. Making sure that your videos are a critical part of the sales process is going to be key. What I'm trying to share with you in terms of these 5 trends, for those of you who are just joining, is I'm trying to share with you some thoughts, some nuggets that you want to be thinking about that will help you to be better positioned for video in 2021. And I've done this not just because I had an opinion, like so many people these days share their opinion as fact, but I've done the homework. I've been doing the research and reading articles and studying to understand what is going to help you as a service provider or small business owner to be more effective with your video. So I've shared 4 trends. The 4th one, strategic. Here's the thing. When I say strategic, it's about not just using video to promote yourself in ads or to do your live stream show, etc., but also to be thinking about how does this become integrated into everything I do. I've shared videos in the past about customer service. I've shared with you how you can use video to literally introduce people into your sales funnel, help to nurture them along in your email marketing communications. You can do this fairly simply now. There are tools such as Dub, excuse me, that's DUBB, Bonjoro, Bonjoro, Hippo Video. There are all kinds of tools out there that will allow you to use video in ways that you probably hadn't even thought you could use them, so that you can really engage and nurture your clients in the space that you play. That is going to be critical because people don't buy from brick and mortar. They buy from people. They buy from real humans that they know, like, and trust. And so you've got to put the face to your brand. When it comes to video, it's an excellent way for you to do that, not just on your Facebook page, but in other ways. So be thinking about how you can be more strategic with video. And if you need help, you need to stick with me in 2021. We got stuff. We're going to be upgrading all of our courses and coaching programs for 2021. So much more coming. One thing I want to make sure, let me do this to share with you. We're going to be doing a curated newsletter every other week. So if you want to get on that list, go to news.getnoticedwithvideo.com so you can stay up to date. The first edition of this curated newsletter will go out January 4th. So I want to make sure to share that with you because I think I missed that earlier. I didn't share. Okay, so I'm going to go back to, there are a couple of things. Face to brand. I have avoided that till now. I know so many of us avoid video in the past. But now moving forward, we all get that it's a part of our strategy if we want to become better marketers and we want to reach more people. All right, so I'm going to do number 5. And then again, I'm going to scan through some of these questions. This is my last tip. This is my final tip as far as trends. And I want to maximize this because I want you to really get it. Repurposing is life. What do I mean by that? Oh my God. When I say repurposing is life, I really, really, really want you to own that. Here's what I mean. I mean that whatever you create, whatever you're spending the bulk of your time creating. And I was on a call last night with Pam Perry and her group. We were talking about this. She likes to write blog posts, and then she repurposes her blog post into small videos. I like doing it the other way. I like to create my live video that I'm doing with you. Then I repurpose that into a blog. I repurpose that into a lead magnet. I repurpose that into, so a downloadable PDF is what I mean. I can repurpose that into multiple social media posts that then go out to all the different profiles, which I'm about to release a system that's going to be awesome for that. So there are, the reason I'm saying this is this. Okay. You're going to spend a whole lot of time. And yes, love Pam Perry. I got to put that up for Pam in case she's watching. And I will put the newsletter link back up as well. Let me do that right now. One of the things that I want to make sure you get is that I understand if you're saying, Tanya, video takes too much time. Ain't nobody got time for that. If you're saying that right now, I get it. It takes time. It takes time to put these live streams every week, like clockwork, together. I've now been doing it almost 2 years. So I get that. It's time consuming. So if you're going to have time consuming work that you put into content, if you're going to do that, you're spending the investment of time to create a piece of content, then you need to learn how to leverage that and to optimize that content into multiple things so that it keeps you visible 24/7. I have always said this. My friend on Twitter, Chuck is Hustle, follow him. It's so funny because he reached out this week and sent me a note and he was like, look, y'all don't know, Tanya's been saying this for decades now. And he actually literally pulled up an interview that we did back in, I don't know, 2000 something. It was really early before 2010. He pulled up an interview where I was saying that same thing, but it applies today. The systems that help you to be more productive require that you put your efforts laser focused into that single piece of content, but then you let that work for you in multiple ways. That is the end game. That's how you are more productive and more profitable with your video content, just like with any other content. So no matter where you're starting, if podcasting is what you love and what you want to do, start with the podcast and then repurpose that. But think about how can I repurpose whatever I'm creating and also leverage video. That's the key. So those are my 5 trends that I hope that you will watch. Let me blow it up again, and then I'm going to go through questions. So new video tech is on the rise. Watch for that. Make sure your video is more educational, not just promotion, promotion, promotion. Think social first and also mobile first. Shorter, interesting, entertaining in some way. Now, when you think about entertaining, think about your audience. Understand your audience. That's the key. Strategic. Don't just think about video in terms of promoting yourself and putting stuff out there on your Facebook page. Think about how can I include this in my inner process for sales? How do I move customers through my customer journey, through my funnel? And then repurposing is life. So those are all my 5 tips to help you to get ready for 2021 with video. Now let's take a look at some questions. And again, I'll pop this up because I was asked to put the newsletter up again. It's brand new, so we have yet to publish an edition, but I'm going to be curating a bi-weekly newsletter in 2021. You can get signed up at news.getnoticedwithvideo.com. Okay, let's take some questions and see what's going on out there. I know there were a few. So the first question was, What tool do you recommend, if any, to do LinkedIn 1 to 3 minute videos? So that's a good question. There's so many. So I'll give you a few, just a few, a handful. One I would share with you that you could use very simply. Remember I mentioned in video? So, and it depends really on whoever asked this question, because I can't see your name, but it depends on what you're already using. So my first piece of advice here is to always think in terms of, what do I have right now? So if you own, for instance, a subscription to animoto.com, Animoto, animoto.com. If you own a subscription there, you want to use that. You can leverage that to easily create 1 to 3 minute videos. Easily. You just use your phone, record yourself, and pop it up in there. Another one that I like for LinkedIn, and for really for any platform, especially if you're trying to do all the critical strategic stuff and have inner customer videos and stuff, Dub, I mentioned earlier, and someone asked me to respell that. It's DU, I'm saying D as in David, UBB. I will try to capture this in a blog post. I'm going to take this live stream we're doing and make this a blog post that will have the resources so that you can have access to this moving forward. Dub is an interesting, you can get it as a subscription right now, and it gives you a lot of different possibilities for video. But you can create a dub video and you can share those. If you're just creating video, standalone videos that you want to publish onto LinkedIn, like I said, Animoto is a good one. InVideo, so INVIDEO.io, not .com. InVideo is one of my favorites that I've used that to create my intro and outro videos. I've used it to create a lot of different stuff. My very favorite one, why didn't I think of this? Here's my very favorite one for the person who asked that question, is Wave Video. So I will put all of my links into the descriptions for these videos, the replay when you are done here. But Wave is rocking. And Wave I use for a number of different reasons. One, because I got an awesome lifetime deal at Black Friday. Hello. But I had been using it for 2 years anyway. I had just been paying the subscription every year because I love them. But very easy to create really nice videos with captions built in and everything. And you can easily publish those to LinkedIn. Okay. So I hope I gave you a few ideas. Let's see what else. I know Sherelle asked, are you in StreamYard right now? I am not. I am in Restream. My intention for using Restream was because a couple of things. One, I like to be able to know about different platforms other than the one that I use all the time. Since I teach video, I want to be able to speak to other types of tools and platforms so that I can share with you what I think in terms of pros and cons. So I'm using Restream today. Plus, they had some really cool Christmassy stuff. They had Christmas themes. StreamYard, by the way, now has activated their new themes. So they have bubble themes and they have rectangular themes. They have other themes. So as you pop up your name and comments at the bottom, it looks nicer and prettier. All right, let's see. Let's see what else. Are you in StreamYard? Yes, Christopher, I will make sure to put that newsletter link into the Facebook page as well. The person that asked about video options, yes, I want to put it in the text, but it's too crazy for me to type and keep going. Thank you, Eric, for subscribing. Yay. I did get the Wave video, but it's not simple. I paid for the plan, so I really have to practice. So here's what we need to do. We, meaning myself, for you, because I really have promoted the heck out of some Wave video, haven't I? What I'll do is I will put on a webinar. So I'm going to look for a date that we can find in January, somewhere between January, February, or March, because first quarter is crazy for me right now. But I will find a time to put a webinar on the calendar so that I can teach the use of Wave video. Like, how am I using it? What are some of the best practices? Is that a deal? Do not let me forget if you're in my Video VIPs community, because I want to make sure I deliver what you need. And if Wave Video, learning that is going to be helpful, that's an educational webinar I can put together, and we can do an hour, maybe a 90-minute, and do that for you. Okay. What makes you choose when to stream with StreamYard versus Restream? I promise y'all, I didn't plan to go for an hour, but I love these questions. So I want to try to answer as many as I can. The thing that makes me choose, honestly, I will say this, my go-to is StreamYard. And the reason for that is because I love the consistency and the reliability of StreamYard. I love the ability to multi-stream to different places. I love the back end of it for inviting guests and all of that. Now, when I first started using StreamYard, they had a lot more features that were of, in my opinion, better, including the green screen feature, which I wanted to have as an option. But I will say that Restream this year has kicked up their game, and Christopher in my group can attest to this. Restream has kicked up their game, and I like them a lot. Ecamm Live has also kicked up their game this year. I just don't use them because I don't have a Mac. So my preference is StreamYard. I like that Restream is adding new features, and I decided today to use it because I love the Christmas themes. And again, because I want to kind of really use these things in real life so that when I'm telling you something, when I'm giving you an opinion or advice, it's real. Like it's not based on something I heard. It's because I've tested it out and I can give you my real honest opinions. Just like when I share my affiliate links, I'm only sharing affiliate links for programs, services, software that I know works, that I've used myself. So that's my answer. I don't have a real formula for it, but I use them when I can to test them out. And StreamYard's my go-to. Ecamm, by the way, for those of you in the Video VIPs community, again, if you want to join, here's how you get there. In the Video VIPs community, I posted a link because at 1 p.m. today, my friend Robert Kennedy is going to be hosting an Ecamm live tutorial along with some other folks who are in his circle of influence. They're going to be hosting an Ecamm live tutorial and talking about Ecamm Live. So if you're in the group, you've seen that invite. Okay, let me scan through some more. This is a really good question. Do you archive all of your old videos on YouTube? So you know what? This year has been interesting for me deciding how I want to organize my videos because I literally have videos going back into I think maybe even late 1990s, which is crazy because I didn't even think I was doing video back then. But what I tend to do, what I will be doing, Eric, is I am going to be looking at the videos that I have in my YouTube account because I have almost 500 right now. Many of them are archived in this moment because they did not support the current brand that I have. If I'm going to be talking about video marketing, and especially moving forward, I want the content that I'm sharing on YouTube that everybody can see that's public. I want that to be relevant to here and now. I want it to be content that they can use and they can actually apply right now. So I have had to archive YouTube videos that are not relevant anymore, or they just don't support the brand that I'm promoting in this moment. Because I've had a lot of businesses. So there's some videos that just don't talk about content marketing. And so I don't want to confuse people when they see my brand online. But that is an excellent question. So I will archive many of my videos at the end of this year that no longer support the brand and my goals. You can pull audio from video. Absolutely, you can. Who's asking that question? Here's the thing about repurposing. The reason why I love to start with video is it literally can create so many other avenues, audio, text-based, images, any number of things can come out of a single video. If you put the work into your video, get the max out of it, get the results. So yes, you can pull audio from your video. As a matter of fact, if you're in StreamYard, when you download your recording after the fact, and let me just get rid of my screen here. When you download your recording after you're done, StreamYard gives you the option to download your audio separately and your video. So that saves you a ton of time because you don't have to use any other type of platforms to convert it. You just go and you pull your audio and then you head over to an app like Headliner and make that into your podcast, right? Part of your podcast. I use Bcast, although I haven't used it regularly. Bcast is going to be potentially my platform of choice for my podcast next year. And all I'm doing is reconverting my Facebook Live stream into the podcast, an audio version. But I got to do a couple of tweaks because you have to keep in mind who your audience is and what they're looking for. So if I'm talking about a lot of stuff that I'm showing on screen, that's not going to convert over very well for people who are listening because they can't see. So just thinking through those things is key. When I talked about strategic earlier, that goes with that. Animoto is nice and easy. Yes. So for those who were asking about quick little 1 to 3 minute videos, that is an excellent option. Dub, haven't heard of them. Very, very good tool to try. So check them out. Eric said, I like side-by-side panels you have here and how you zoom in on text to highlight it when you want. Yeah, Restream will let you do that, Eric, and so will StreamYard. Now, Christopher mentioned earlier today that you can get a really good deal on Restream. So one thing I'll share with you, and I probably should have had all these links up, I just didn't put them in. If you go to tanya.click/restreamio, I'll try to put that in here. Let me see if I can do it. If you go there, then you should be able to see what they have available right now in this moment. Let's pop that up. Try to go to that link and see if you're able to pull up Restream's current pricing and what they have for sale in this moment, because there may be some options. It may be a good one for you to check into as a subscription. All right. Let's see what else we got. Love Wave Video. Yeah, I mean, I do too, Christopher, because there's so many options. The landing page with the calls to action is a big deal for me. The reason why I love Wave is because of that landing page feature and because they now have the ability to auto generate captions with your own branded colors. There's just so many things. We need to talk about this. So I'm going to do a web. I promise I will make a note to create a webinar date where we talk about Wave Video, but lots of options there. Yes, and thank you for the person who was putting in the comments all of the different things. So Animoto is actually Animoto, and then Dub is with 2 B's. But other than that, you are on target. So thank you for doing that for me. Yes, Marcia, I promise I'm going to get that up, and I know you will remind me. All right. And I have a viewer who is saying, I'm going to leave StreamYard and go to Restream to save money with the lifetime deal. I do too. Yeah, I have the lifetime deal on Restream too. So literally, I could just move everything over and not pay another dime. But I do love StreamYard. One of the big ticket items for me with StreamYard is the community and the fact that they deliver every Sunday like clockwork a community update. They do a live video where they're telling you all the things that are happening, and they're doing social listening, which I should have put in my top 5 trends, right? They're doing social listening. Let me pull this up for anyone who's come in late so that you see my trends. I like the idea of them listening to what I have to say. If I say that I think StreamYard needs to add these features, or here's use cases that I have for using it, and these are solutions that I need, they're looking at ways to implement. And that is a good model for our businesses too. How can you create a community where you can listen to your folks who are telling you what their problems are? You just told me, somebody told me on here that Wave Video was difficult. And I said, what? I said, okay, let me create a training for that. That's the kind of thing that we have to be conscious about when we create a community and when we're using video. So I love that you mentioned that. Maybe moving to Mac, Sherelle. Yes, I saw that, girl. And you know what? I think you will love a Mac because everybody that goes to Mac seems to love it. So if you do switch, yes, these do work with Mac. But you also, Sherelle, may want to listen in on the Ecamm Live tutorial that Robert Kennedy's group is doing, because Ecamm is a powerhouse on Macs and they can do a lot with Ecamm Live as well. I can't speak to it from personal experiences since I don't have a Mac, but I would be interested in seeing what you think if you try Ecamm Live, if you do a test when you get your Mac, and see if you prefer that versus the others. Pulling audios from stage readings for podcasts. Yes, that would be awesome. That is one way to repurpose. I'm so glad you are thinking in those terms. Pamela asked, what is social listening? Very great question. So here's what I mean when I say that, Pamela. Let me keep it up so I can explain this and come back to this as a bookmark. Social listening is the act of you using your social media platforms, not just your own pages, profiles, etc., but also groups that you may be a part of, people that you follow, but listening for questions that are being asked. Why is that so relevant? It's so important because if people are asking those questions and you can provide the solutions, if they're asking questions in your space of expertise and you can be a solution giver, that's what they're willing to pay for. And so we are always looking for ways as business owners to drive sales, right? We're trying to figure out how do we create products, programs, and services that drive sales, that help us to become more profitable so that we can reach more people and serve more people. Because it takes money for us to do that. In order for you to create content that matters, you need to be listening to the folks that are going to be consuming and paying for the content in the first place. So, social listening is your ability, an approach by which you are using social media platforms to understand what the needs are so that you can meet them. I hope that helped. Awesome. Okay, and Sherelle, thank you. Let me know when you get your Mac, because I suspect that you will get a Mac. When you do, I want to see what you think. All righty, folks. Well, I know we are at the end of our time, and I did go way over, way more than I normally do, but I love and appreciate your questions. I hope that this has been helpful and useful to you. And I am looking forward to doing business and doing video marketing with you in 2021 to keep up so that you know what's going on. Here's my new newsletter that has not gone out yet. It will go out January 4th, I believe is the first Monday. And it's every 2 weeks is our intention, but it's a curated newsletter that we are going to be delivering. You can sign up at news.getnoticedwithvideo.com. And when the first edition comes out, what I'm going to do in there is I will be showcasing, I'll have, of course, my video blog, recaps will be in there, new apps and trends that we see in video content. We'll highlight any updates on events and things that are coming up. We'll answer questions. So I'm trying to keep this, I want to make it something that's going to be worthy of your attention because your email box is already full. And I'm not about trying to add to that. What I want to do is to make it something that's strategic and helpful to you. So let me pop it up again. I'll leave it up for a few more minutes. We're going to make sure that everything that we do is strategic and it's driven by the folks who are listening and watching our stuff. So if you're part of my community and you have questions and you have needs for about video content, then I want to make sure you have access to those strategies. The last thing I will leave you with is my buddy Lou Bortone is going to be hosting something called the Video Bunch on January 26th through the 29th. And so I am going to make sure, let me add this because I didn't add it, but I'm adding it now. I will share this with you real quick here. This is how you get there. If you go to Lou Bortone, who is another video, he calls himself the godfather of video guru out there who I trust. He is going to be doing kind of like a video marketing conference, if you will, that you can go and sign up for. And I'm going to be one of the guests on this panel talking about video. So check it out. I hope that you have an amazing holiday weekend and that you are feeling abundantly blessed to be here, healthy and well, prayerfully. and that you also are excited about the coming new year. 2021 has amazing things in store for each and every one of you. I know it does for me. We have to start with the belief. We have to believe that first. So believe that there are miracles coming. They're in place waiting for you right now. And know that you're going to have a beautiful, incredibly productive, and abundant 2021. That is my wish for you. And I hope that you embrace that and take it in as your own idea and thought. I will see you next year. Thank you so much for watching and for spending the time today.